Alright, I guess what we're going to do today is we're going to try to get this amplifier working. It's a Hifonics Brutus Elite 2000 watt, and it's making a weird noise. It's not working properly. I guess I can try to show you what it's doing real quick before we do anything else. Turn on the power supply and see if we get anything. So that's what it's doing. I don't know if you can hear that noise, but that doesn't sound good to me. So I don't know. We'll try to get that figured out and see if we can get this thing working right. So yeah, I just wanted to show you what it was doing before we did anything. We will unhook everything and start to try to troubleshoot a little bit. I think what we should do is just start taking some resistance readings probably on some of these transistors. Let's see if I can put this in a way that you guys can still see it. With nothing face. You just alright. I believe this is the power supply section and this is the output section, because transformers, big transformers usually means power supply, littler transformers usually mean output, and that makes sense because here's the output leads. So let's just kind of look at some of these resistance readings and see what we got going on. 0.5K, 500 ohms. Seems a little bit low to me. I think it should be like 2K or something, right? But I don't know, that doesn't seem crazy, like a crazy short or anything. That was a little bit lower. I think we'll just end up pulling all these transistors and testing them in the tester. I think the power supply section is kind of looking alright right now. Maybe that noise is just the output section spazzing out for some reason. Alright, those are all about the same. Okay. 27K. That's a little different. 27. 28. And this section's 28. I think that's pretty close. But man, these ones look like they've been really hot. I don't know if you can see that. I'll see if I can show you. Which probably isn't good. Here, I'll try to zoom in on that. See how discolored they are? I don't think they should be that copper brass type color. So that's probably not good. Yeah, I don't think that they're too crazy shorted together or anything though, unless maybe the center pin. Well, it's charging caps. Charging caps. Charging caps. Yeah, I think I'm going to pull all these transistors out. I did order some new transistors and they should be here either today or tomorrow. So I can replace them if they turn out to be bad, but it's not looking like the transistors are what's bad here, but I could be wrong. It could just be like something slightly out of spec or something like that, but I think that's the next step, is go ahead and pull all these transistors out and get some more readings without the transistors in there, probably. So maybe let's go ahead and do that. Go ahead and turn on the soldering iron. Go ahead and get our flux and solder. And we probably need this guy. I think while I'm waiting for soldering iron to heat up, I'm going to clean some of this thermal paste off these transistors, because it's kind of a pain in the ass to get these like to work with them when they're all thermal pasty. Yeah, a couple other issues this amp had is it's missing a few of the clips that held the transistors against the heatsink. That's probably why these ones got so hot, because the clips were missing over here. And so that might have something to do with why it failed, but I'm not quite sure yet. And actually, I think that's about it. The first thing I do before I take anything off the board or start working on it in any way is I take some good photos of the board, just in case I don't know where something was supposed to go. Like, I don't know, it just really helps to have reference photos before you start anything. So I already took some photos, but I'm going to write on the back of the board which transistors go where. And so these are the 630s, I believe. These are P75 NF75s right here, and these ones and these ones. And these ones are IRF 640Ns on both sides. Oh wow. Some of these aren't even matching, like they're from different sets, so that's probably not good. It looks like they did that from the factory maybe too, I don't know. Let me clean all these off and see how many of them are mismatched. IRF 640N RW TU 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 U1 UI TU. Yeah, this one and these two are both mismatched. That's not good. Yeah, that's not good at all. Here, let me see this side. .640 TU, 640 TU, 640 TU, 640 RW, TU, TU. Wow, so they either did that from the factory, the Hifonics factory, or this amp's been worked on before and these couple have been replaced. It's really hard to tell. Actually, those kind of do look like they've been soldered on before. Let me flip the board over and just look real quick. What's that? Okay, supposed to be right. Yeah, these might have been. Those aren't even soldered down very well. Oh yeah, these, I don't know, man. Is that factory flux? It's really hard to tell. I think they've been pulled out before. I really can't tell, to be honest, but we're going to pull them all out and test them. Well, I'm probably just going to end up replacing them because they're mismatched anyways already, so that's not good. Oh, I didn't even see this. There's an R written right here. This must have been repaired before. These look to be the same set, I think. Yeah, these have all different transistors in them. Alright, now we can try to get these pulled. Do we pull the output first or the power supply first? What do you think? I think we're going to try to go for these outputs first. Seems to make more sense. Look how bent those legs are. This thing had to have been worked on previously. Before I pull that last one, I'm gonna do something really quick. I need a card. Alright, I'm going to get a height of this transistor so I can hopefully somewhat match it. That should be pretty close. Let's be close. All right. Let's do it. There's a little tiny burn mark right there. It's very faint, very small, but that can't be good. See if I can show it to you. It's very tiny, but it is a sign that one of these was getting very hot. See that right there? Yeah, that transistor was so we're flipped over. So this guy would be this guy. This guy got very hot, it looks like. We'll leave him flipped over just so we know it's that one. Man, I really do not like these aluminum solder suckers because the thick aluminum body acts as a heat sink, so you only get like, you know, one solder suck before this thing clogs because the solder just dries instantly and it doesn't like have a spot to build up. It just hits the sides of the sucker and causes a slug. See that? These cheesy ones don't do that for some reason. Alright, let's go ahead and test all these power circuit transistors and see what it says. NMOS 0.2. It's 0.4. It's not 2. Terribly off, it is different. 0.2, wait. Alright, this is the one that was hot. 0.2, oh, 1.4 nanofarad. That's way different. So yeah, that guy is most likely bad because that's way different than every other one so far. Oh, 0.1 and 1.4 nanofarads. Let's retest this last one and see if it says the same thing. Yep. That says about the same as that one, so those two are probably definitely bad. Most likely bad. Most likely bad. Definitely not going to use them in here. 0.2. 1. Are these all going to say 1 nanofarad? 0.2, 1.4 nanofarad. It looks like these are just different. 0.2. Wow. So these ones are different than these ones. That is weird. Alright, so these are the Mart. Oh, they're different. They're different sets, that's why. Yeah, that's probably why you're not supposed to mix different sets of transistors, huh? These could be good, but probably don't want to be reusing them. None of them is too crazy off to where it's not even a transistor on here, so I guess that's good news. It's kind of good news and kind of not good news because it's not just obviously one of these transistors or multiple transistors. So I think we're going to probably go a little further down with the drive circuit, probably. Yeah, let's check out these transistors too. Just gonna pull these and replace them, I think. Yeah, let's do that. This is gonna be a little more tricky, probably. Oh yeah, that probably was our problem. This transistor leg just was broken off. I'll show you once I get this out of here. If I can. Without causing extra damage. Yeah, look at this. Ah. Hot. Here, I'll show you. Where was it? Alright, so where are we at? Right here. See, look at this transistor. I just heated up the solder and it just fell apart. See, it's I don't know if you can see that, but it's broken where that other third leg went. So that is probably what our problem is, and that was probably caused by either vibration or heat. So I'm fairly confident that our amp is going to work good once we put it back together. I'm glad we found that. Can't tell if it's melted or cracked. Here, I'll see if I can give you a better view of this. There we go. That's about as good as I can get it. So, see, it was cracked. And the other leg is still in there. And I do not believe I did that when I desoldered it, because as soon as I melted the solder, as soon as it was melted, one of the legs was free, so that shouldn't happen with the transistor. So let's get this rest of this guy pulled out, cleaned up, and hopefully replaced. Yeah, the other leg is still in there. I guess we can pull it from the top. It'll be a little easier. I can maybe do it so you guys can see. Perfect. Right about there. Put a little bit of this just so we don't burn anything. Oh man, sorry, I do something. Clear these holes. I'm not used to having to keep things in view for people. I'm used to just working on stuff, doing it without worrying about it. So, all right, there's one. Now let's get its pair. Alright, that was not easy. Getting it out of this tiny little spot. Alright, out of my replacement transistors, I am going to try to find two that are matching as close as possible. 614, 1.6. 250, 616. Or 250, 245, 1.6, 245. Man, they're all completely a little different, aren't they? That's probably not good. I mean, that's pretty close. I think we'll go with these two. I guess we should probably try to get those other two out before we put the new ones in. Alright, we got the drive transistors replaced, so let's hook some power to this thing and see what it's going to do on the power supply pads. Power supply transistor pads, I should say. We'll look at it on the scope and see if we have stable wave or not. And then if we do, I think I'm going to wait till I get my transistors and then just put new transistors in here and yeah, go from there. Alright, so actually nothing conflictive under the board. That would not be good. Alright, nothing to at least. Go ahead and turn on the scope. Let's go ahead and what are you going to do? Well, the relay kicked on. I think it looks alright. I think I'm gonna take a break for a bit and wait for my transistors to get here and start working on it again once I have them. So yeah. Alright, well, it's the next day. My replacement transistors have showed up, so we're gonna continue. And another thing I figured out is the reason my oscilloscope line didn't look quite right is because my ground point was not secure. So I have fixed that, and hopefully the scope line should look a lot better now. We'll go ahead and just double check and make sure real quick before we start putting some transistors in. Alright, yeah, that does, here I'll show you, that looks much better. I'll probably have to do some fancy editing. Hopefully you can see that. On to put some transistors in this thing. We'll go ahead and put one on each bank. and make sure she's gonna work before we put all of them in. Yeah, good wave, good wave, good wave, good wave, good wave. All right, we're looking pretty good, so I think we can move on to the next step. I am changing the transistors that were in there. I'm going to put some 3607s in here instead of these there's the 640s, instead of these P75 and F75s. We're gonna put in some IRF B6 3607s. They're slightly different, very slightly different spec, but I think they're close enough to where it shouldn't be a problem. So we're going to put these in, and it's either going to blow up or it's going to work. So I think they'll be alright though. I think I like these transistors better than these NFs. I've only repaired a few amplifiers, but I've had these P75, these like NF transistors fail more than the IRFs. So I don't know if that means anything or not, but that's just my experience. And we will start by putting one transistor in each bank for now, and then we'll look at the output pads and make sure everything's okay there, and then put one transistor in each bank of the outputs and check again. And then after that, if it looks all good, we'll go ahead and put all the transistors in. Alright, so let's do that. Let's get the soldering iron heated up. We're going to switch tips again because this one's a little bit big for the more fine soldering work. Go ahead and put in our good old beveled tip. And then we'll turn this baby on. Let it heat up. The soldering iron heats up pretty quick, so it should be good to go here in a second. Try to remember to use this guide that I made. Now that would be perfect if I could just get it to stay just like that. Try to just do one leg from the top and all the rest on the bottom. Should get up now, just forget. Try to make it so you guys can see what's going on. There we go. This one works pretty dang good actually. I just don't like the button on the top. That button kind of sucks. Haha. Get it? That button sucks. Because the thing sucks. I know, stupid joke. Trying to keep everything in frame, but I am not used to it. clean this up and make sure our joints are looking all right. And get some full starches. That'll probably be a bit easier to clean up with. Make sure I have no bridges. Man, they left so many long leads that could bend and touch something that they're not supposed to. Like, look, those are almost bridging right there. I'm gonna have to make sure none of those are touching something. Man, some of this solder work on here is not the best. This thing has definitely been worked on before. Yeah, look at this. They're probably hunting that broken transistor that I found, because there's all kinds of replaced stuff on here. Look at this. I just want to show you. This is the voltage regulators, and I did not touch this, and there's a big old solder blob. This has definitely been taken out at least before, and I think replaced, because this is that. See if I can show you. See, these are the voltage regulators. There's a bunch of flux on top, and this one is really discolored. Hopefully it still works. I should probably order some new voltage regulators, but we'll see if we're gonna have a working board once I get these transistors replaced. And wait till all the transistors are in here before I worry about cleaning that up too much. I am going to go through and make sure that these center legs are soldered on the top, because those are an important connection on the top. So. Alright, those do look pretty good. Don't think there's any bridges. We'll go ahead and take we'll go ahead and take multimeter readings real quick just to double check. So we can hopefully see. Just capacitors. Just capacitors reading. Alright. I guess let's see what she's gonna do, huh? Alright, well, it has been a little bit, and it's the next day. I kind of took a break because I was getting frustrated because I was not getting any output no matter what I did. And I thought I was getting a short, but it turned out I needed to replace one of the transistors on the output card. So now we're going to put in some output transistors and take it from there. Put one in each bank like we did with the power transistors and see if we get some output. And I didn't show replacing the output transistor because I was a little bit frustrated and just wanted to figure out what was wrong with this thing and why it was getting no output. And turns out there must have been a bad transistor on there because I replaced a couple and started working. So drive card, not the easiest thing to get out of the board. Alright, I think it's time to give it a test. So I'm going to throw some stuff away and then we'll hook up the speaker and see what happens. Alright, so we got all new transistors put in around, and I did have to replace a couple of transistors on this drive card because I was getting absolutely no output drive, and it was actually kind of frustrating me for a while because I couldn't figure it out. But then I decided to just try to replace a few of these, and it ended up being, I think it was one of these three right here, and I put a big old blob of solder on the top because these cards apparently run really hot, so I just figured it might give it a little more thermal mass. So output drive waves look good now. We'll go ahead and hook up a speaker and make sure it sounds alright, so that's what we're going to do now. Hopefully this will fit up here. I'm not sure. Alright, this is just a test sub that I have that I use for testing. It still works good, but it's missing the dust cap, so I just use it for tests. This should be a good song for testing. So we'll go ahead and play this. Make sure to turn the volume right down. Go ahead and turn the power supply on. Make sure we aren't going to bridge anything. Alright, lights green. Relay kicked on. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's definitely working. That's just all the stuff rattling on my desk. Yeah, she's working. Alright. I think we can call that a successful test. So that means we can move on to the next step. Alright, I think this bad boy is about ready to go back into the heatsink. But before we do that, once I get this back in the heatsink, I'll test it a little harder, make sure it's going to be alright before I hook it up to the car. But before we do that, I have one more thing I would like to do. Alright, so this is the heatsink right here. And the heatsink has these blue LEDs that make these letters light up. And I think I'm going to change the LEDs because I just kind of don't like the blue ones. So I'll go ahead and try to show you what what they kind of look like before. And then I'm going to try to change out some of the LEDs for maybe a different color. So I'll try to show you what the LEDs look like before I do anything to them. So those go like that. I'm just going to take these to show you guys what the LEDs look like before I change them. Power supply should be able to reach over there. See, that's what the LEDs look like right now. Pretty cool. I just think it'd be cool to mod it and make my own color. So yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do, is try to change out these LEDs. We might have to change some resistors to make sure they're the correct value for the LEDs, because I think I'm gonna do red, or I might do yellow. I haven't decided yet, but red and yellow LEDs take a different voltage and resistance compared to blue LEDs, so I'm gonna have to try to figure that out. Alright, before we move on to the LEDs, I'm just gonna check the voltage that they take, just so I can get the correct resistance measurements and everything. I'm pretty sure it's 12 volts, but it might be 9, but we're just gonna double check right now real quick, just so we know for sure. And see if I put my meter, you guys can see it. I guess it'll be right there. Can you see that? Yes, you can. Alright, we'll go negative, positive, and turn on power supply. Oh, it is 9 volts. Okay. Good to know. I was thinking it might have been 12, but it is 9, so good thing I checked. Alright. We're going to start on those LEDs right about now. Yeah, that's what we'll get started on next. Alright, let's see what it looks like on the heatsink, huh? Probably not going to be the hugest difference ever, but we'll go ahead and find out. Oh man, this heatsink is so sharp, dude. So many sharp edges. I might take some sandpaper and sand these corners down because they're so sharp. Kind of sucks. Alright, what do you think? You think it's going to look alright? Oof. That looks pretty cool. I like it. A little more character than the all blue, don't you think? Yeah, that looks pretty cool. I think it was worth it. Yeah. That looks pretty badass. I dig it. Alright, now we can put the board back in the heatsink. And so I guess we'll get started doing that next. Gonna save all these blue little LEDs that came from the board because they all still did work, but they just have really short legs and it'll be hard to tell which one's positive and negative, but I can just connect them to the power supply at really low voltage and see which way, which polarity, which leg is which. So we'll go ahead and save them. Can never hurt to have a few extra LEDs. Now, do we clean off all this old thermal paste and pads, or do we just put them back in there and hope for the best? Yeah, I think we're going to have to clean them because that's all really old thermal paste, and they probably... The transistors probably won't sit in there very well because the thermal paste is so crusty. But I'm going to have to very carefully take these pads off and clean them and reuse them. These pads are hard to find. I wish I knew like the name of them. But when I search for thermal pads, I can't find these like thin, tough ones. I just find these like ones for SSDs and CPUs and whatnot, and these ones are not nearly as tough as these ones. Like, these ones can rip really easily, so I wish I knew how to find these. If anyone knows, let me know how to find these pink thermal pads for transistors, because I don't know what they're called. I don't know how to find them. I've searched for them probably like 4 or 5 times and could not find these exact ones. So we'll go ahead and take these off and we'll clean them. Try to use them. It's really a pain in the ass because they're already right where they need to be, and I guess I could just wipe off the front, put more thermal paste, but I want to change this gross old thermal paste out too, and it's kind of a pain in the ass to put them back in the right spot, but we'll do what we can, I guess. Yeah, it's pretty crusty. These are all dents where someone pulled the clips off. I pulled them off, but I didn't leave these big old dents. That means this amplifier definitely has been worked on before, because I didn't do this. These are like big gouges. Let's go ahead and clean these guys. Hopefully without tearing them or ripping them or putting a hole in them. And just so you know, these thermal pads are really important because the big metal tabs on the back of the transistors, they're positive, they carry current, and so they can't touch the case of the amplifier, otherwise you'll short something out. So these things are very important. You can't have any holes in them, can't have any tears or rips, and you certainly can't just put the metal part of the transistor against the case, because that will ruin your amplifier. The first time I fixed an amp, I was like, oh, it seems like it'd have better cooling if you just put these directly against the heatsink, and that was a mistake, let me tell you. I learned my lesson the hard way. Alright, let's move on to the next step, huh? Alright, I have this heatsink compound, and I like to put it in a CPU thermal paste syringe. So we're gonna try to do. Oh man, this really is a pain in the ass to get back in. I really like the ones with the transistors that lay flat. Those go in so much easier. Alright. Supposedly these pink pads work better without any heatsink compound, but I'm doing this because I don't know how else I'll get them to stick in the spot I need to, so. Alright, one more pretty serious big problem that I have with this amp that I'm gonna have to figure out still is I'm missing 3 clamps. So that means, see, it's supposed to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 clamps, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then this is the thermal clamp. So missing 3 clamps. So I looked everywhere for these clamps. I don't know what they're called or how to properly search for them. Tried looking at, Hifonics clamps, parts, transistor clamps, clips. I don't know the proper name of these, so they're hard to search. I found some that I thought might work, but they were like $10 a piece. and that was just for a single transistor, so I'd have to spend like 80, 60, 80 bucks or whatever just on clamps, which I'm definitely not gonna do. So the best idea I've come up with so far is use one clamp for 6 and just put something underneath, like I don't know, some type of metal like this, so I could just use one clamp for 6, and then that should give me enough clamps. But I still have to figure out the piece, the metal piece or whatever I'm gonna use, and if that's even gonna work. I don't even know if that's gonna work yet, but so that's what I gotta come up with next. And once I get that figured out, I'll show it to you guys. I'll show you what I come up with. But yeah, I wish I could just get a couple of these clips for, you know, $2 a piece or whatever, but since I'm kind of dumb and I don't know what to search for, I'm gonna have to think of something else to do. So I'm gonna take a break for a minute, think about it for a minute, and I'll come back when I show you guys what I come up with, if I can come up with anything. So I'm gonna take a break and try to figure out this side, and then once I figure out that side, then we'll do the other side. So here's hoping I'll come up with something. So that's where we're at. I'll be back in a few. Alright, so it's the next day, and this is what I've come up with. This is a piece of a hacksaw blade that I trimmed up, and I was thinking I was just gonna put the hacksaw blade on like that and push all the transistors back and do one clip, but I'm not quite sure if this will be stiff enough for the end transistors, so we're gonna have to test it and see. And I'm also kind of worried about if this falls out of place, it shorting something inside the amplifier. So I'm going to cover this with electrical tape just in case it ever slips out of there, comes off. It won't short out all my transistors or something like that. So yeah, we're going to have to see how this is going to work. I'm not quite sure if we might need to maybe double stack them if one isn't stiff enough. But we'll go ahead and test one out and see what happens, I guess. First thing, we'll cover this in electrical tape. That should at least help with no shorts, hopefully. I'm not quite sure if that's going to be stiff enough or not. This is what I used to get the clips off. I just kind of stuck that in there and pried them off. Not quite sure how to do this with two pieces. Kind of violent, but that's about the only way to get them on. Alright, I don't know how this is gonna work, but we're gonna try it, I guess. Wish I could give you a better angle, but about as good as I can do for right now. Well, that didn't work very good, did it? Alright, I think that might work. This guy is a little bit sticking out, but he's still making contact. Maybe I can put something... Alright, well, I got the clips on. I got one there and one there. Hacksaw blade seems to work pretty good. It's not perfect. The ones on the ends have a tiny little bit of movement, but I mean, it's not bad. It's it will work alright until I can get some new clips. So yeah, they're pretty good. So that's cool that is working for now. We'll finish putting the rest of the clips on, and then we'll try to give it another test and see if we screwed something up or not. So I'll just keep on doing that. Yeah, these clips really frickin' suck. If anyone out there makes amplifiers, do not use these frickin' clips. Use metal strips that screw into the heatsink, because that is way better. These suck, dude. I hate these clips. They bend. You can lose them. All kinds of stuff. Alright. One more thing is I got these mini heat sinks that I'm going to put on this output drive card, because these cards get really hot. I don't know if you'll be able to see. Let me see if I can show you. I don't know if you can see, but some of the card is discolored from heat. I don't know if you can see that. But one half is darker than the other half. Half with the transistors on this side gets really hot. So I'm going to put a couple of those little mini heat sinks on there. They just stick on there. But I am kind of worried that if the heatsink falls off, it'll short something out. So I think I'm gonna zip tie it to the card. Could probably use a rubber band too or something, but I think I'm just gonna use a zip tie because these have slots. So I'll just put it like that and put a zip tie around it. So hopefully that will prevent any shorting out that could possibly happen. Alright. Well, those stick pretty good actually. I don't think it'll fall off, but I'm still gonna put some zip ties there. Alright, that should hopefully help with this card not being so hot. It's on there pretty good, so hopefully it won't cause too much damage if it falls off. Alright, we have, from what I can tell, we have one final thing to do, which probably doesn't even need to be done, but I think I'm going to do it anyways. Is these heat fins are screwed on, so we'll take off these heat fins, and these have old thermal paste on them and not spread very well, so we'll go ahead and clean this off and spread some more thermal paste. This probably really doesn't even need to be done, but I just want this thing to have as good as cooling as possible. And I'll be trying to find more clips, and if I can get, when I can get more clips, I'll put the proper clips on. I probably won't run the amp too hard until I can find the actual clips, the proper clips, but should be okay to mess around with for now, I think so. Oh, that's really cool. No, please. Man, these fins are so sharp, they dig into your fingers really easily. Makes the amp very uncomfortable to handle. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take these fins, I'm going to go sand them. I'm going to sand the corners just so it's not so, because these are really sharp, they dig into your fingers quite easily. So I'm going to take off this other side and take them out in the garage and sand them down just a little bit. Alright, I'm going to take these out in the garage and sand the corners down, and I'll be right back. Alright, I got these guys corners sanded down just a little bit so they're not so harsh on the hands. Still a tiny bit sharp, but not nearly as bad as they were. This amp looks alright without the heat fins, just the black simple, but probably should put the heat fins back on. That might have a little bit of benefit. Probably needs to spray, but I'm not sure it's completely covered. Thermal pads probably would have worked a lot better to fill that, because they aren't exactly totally flat. There's probably a little teeny 1/2 millimeter or 1/4 millimeter gap between this and the amp. Ready to do a test. Make sure we didn't screw anything up. We can check this really quick to make sure it didn't put any holes in the thermal pads. Go ahead and test the transistor tops. Make sure there's no continuity. Sure isn't. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and clean up my workstation a little bit because it's kind of messy, and then we'll get back to another test to hopefully say we haven't screwed anything up, but you never know. We could have blown the whole amplifier as we're putting it together. But 1 second, I'm going to clean up my workspace and then we'll give it a test. Alright, got an area cleaned up a little bit, and now we're ready for a test. Hopefully I didn't screw anything up, so let's get to it. Go ahead and play some music, turn it right down till we're powered up, and here we go. Green light. Oh yeah. That's just at 3 amps. Alright, heck yeah. I guess what we can do now is finish putting it back together. Not gonna lie, this is a really weird angle to be screwing things together. Alright, yeah, get fully on this thing, which is pretty sweet. Alright, cool. This is all back together. I'm gonna clean it up and do one final test just to make sure everything's still working the way it should. Let's start that way. As long as it works okay, right? Alright, that looks a little bit better. Alright, we are going to do one last test just to make sure we're still working. We should be, but just double checking. Alright, we'll make sure she still turns on and call the video good, I guess. It's pretty fun to repair this thing. Kind of tricky at times, but I think we got it. And I like my mod. LED mod looks pretty cool. And I'm gonna try to find some replacement clips to throw on there so I don't have to keep using that little hacky hack, I guess you'd call it. But I think it'll work for now. I'm not going to push it too hard until I can get those properly clamped down, but I think it'll be alright just to have a little bit of music to bump. Yeah, I had fun repairing this. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to leave a little thumbs up there. I'm not sure if anyone enjoyed watching as much as I did fixing this thing, but who knows. Hopefully it maybe help a person or two out there. So yeah, heck yeah, guys. Well, take it easy, guys. Thanks for watching.
But wait, there's more.
Alright, just before I end the video, and since I've had this recorded for a while but haven't edited it, I've been using this amp for about 2 months now, and it's been working great, no problems, but I just wanted to add to the end of the video, I did get my hands on a couple of clips, so we're just going to swap these out and get these clipped down properly. These have been working just fine. No overheating issues or anything, though I do wish that these did seat a little better, but they've been working great. I've been using the amp for about 2 months now, like I said, and we just happened to get another amp with these kind of clips, which will be a future video. It will be this Kicker 125 amp. And since this is a lot less power, I'm going to steal the clips from this and put it into this. And I think they're the exact same clips, if I'm not mistaken. It looks like it. So that's good. I did end up finding these clips, but they're a lot more dinky than the actual clips. So I think I'm going to put these clips into the Kicker that we've already fixed, and put these clips into the Hifonics. And so I think that's what we're going to do. I just wanted to throw this into the end of the video just so you know this thing got all buttoned up correctly. And it looks like our heat sinks have been holding on just fine. So yeah, I'm just going to pop these clips in and button it back up, and it should be good to go for a while. So we'll go ahead and do that. Yeah, that Kicker just happened to have the same types of clips, and I got that Kicker amp for $10, and I don't think I could even got 2 of these clips for less than 10 bucks, so I think that was a pretty good deal. And that Kicker amp is working just fine too now, so I think I'm going to hook that up for my speakers. But we got to get these old clips off. We might put more thermal paste on there, I'm not really sure yet. So, I don't know, these clips are kind of a pain to get off, but hopefully we can do it. It's never very fun to get these off. Sometimes it's scary, but we'll just see what happens. Just kind of get it in there as much as you can, and hopefully, hopefully you don't break it. These clips are on there a lot harder because of that gap that the hacksaw blade is taking up. Hopefully we can even get these off. You know what we might do is try to get this, yeah, that's probably what we should do, is try to get these hacksaw blades out first, and then possibly pop the clips. Oh, see what I mean? That thing just launched. If I can even freaking find it. Doesn't look to be too damaged. Should work. I'm not so sure about this one though. This one's being kind of stubborn. And we got our hacksaw blade off, which it worked all right, but there wasn't quite enough tension on the outside transistors. And I tried to use 2 layers of hacksaw blade, but it was too thick for the clips. But that's about the best I could come up with. I'm sure if I would have thought about it more, I could have come up with something better, but it got me through, so that's all I'm really worried about. Now, to get this other clip, alright, finally found the Allen, flew across the room. Now, this guy did kind of chip a little bit. Hopefully we can get him without breaking it. This guy might be more of a pain to get, to be honest. I wish I had like a proper tool to take these things off. Oh man. Alright, we got that guy out. Now let's see if we can pop him off. I think I got it loose. There we go. That actually seemed to work pretty well, rocking it back and forth like that. That might even be better than popping them off like I did the first time, actually. Doesn't look too damaged. A little bit of a chip there. Be a pain in the butt if I have to take it off again, but... Now we do have 4 clips. I do wish I knew what the names of these things were. I know they're like transistor clips, but I wish I knew like the proper names so I could order new ones if I needed to. But alright, it looks like there's enough thermal paste on all those guys. We don't have to add any more or redo it. So let's try to get some proper clips on these guys. There really is no great way to put these things on that I know of. Maybe some type of press might be better, but I just kind of pound them on there till they seat. Seems to work alright as long as you don't bang important stuff in the amp. It sure does seat those transistors against the heatsink a lot better than that hacksaw blade, that's for sure. Alright, that should seat those against the heatsink a lot better so we can not worry so much about pushing our amp a little bit. They all look pretty good. Seated pretty well, and the amp should button up the way it's supposed to now. So I just figured I'd throw that in the end of the video. I know this is probably going to be a long video, That's why I haven't edited this video yet, because it's quite a lot of footage, but guess I'll try to trim it down as much as I can. And yeah, hopefully it helped someone. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. So I won't show me putting the lid on this thing for a second time, but heck yeah. Heat sinks are on there pretty good. And thanks for watching, guys. Take care. I mean, actually take care this time. See ya.